Okay, so this demo is for how to make a lid. Earlier I made this little cup, right? It's still pretty soft, so I have to be careful with it. But I want to make a little lid, and you'll see that I did so for this piece as well. See? You could make another pinch pot if you wanted a rounded top. This is what this is. This is a rounded top. Creates a kind of a cauldron look. And I made that using the pinch pot technique. Or you can make a flat piece using your rolling pin, using a slab technique. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put this aside for a moment. And I'm going to get my handy dandy used cloth napkin. And I made kind of a little ball, but I'm just going to make a puck out of it. When I roll it, I don't want it to be thinner than a 1/4 inch. Or I want it to be a 1/4 inch because I don't want it to be thicker than a 1/4 inch, as I've said before. But I don't want it to be thinner either because I'll show you. Okay, so I'm rolling this out. Not pressing too hard because we're already there, but I just want to do a little stretch. In this direction. Okay, that's pretty good, pretty fast. Great, so now I have this slab, flat piece of clay. Now I have my pot here. For the dimension of the lid, I want it to be a little wider than here. So, to show how to do that, I'm going to take my little water dish. And I'm actually going to hold my pot upside down, gently tap it so that is wet. See? I'm going to go here, press it down. This works pretty well because the rim of this pot is pretty even. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Okay, so now I'll set my little pot aside, and I have the impression of the rim of my piece. Now don't forget that I want this piece to be a little bit wider, this lid to be a little bit wider, so I'm going to give it a little bit of space, but follow the curve. Try to keep it as even as possible. It's a little hard because the impression isn't perfect, but again, hand-built pieces are meant to be kind of organic in nature. And look, anytime I have this tiny little kind of clay that I can't really like wedge, I just put it in my little dish over here to make some slip. Alright, so now I have this piece and I want to curve the edges because I don't like hard edges. I'm just pinching and smoothing the sides like that. Okay, now I'll take this. Now my pot here, it's still pretty wet, so I don't want to put the lid on for too long because it might stick. Okay, so there's that. Let me just try to center it a little better. Basically what I'm doing is just kind of seeing where my little piece can go. Okay, there we go. Let's move this aside. Great, so now I'm just going to kind of bring the edges up. This is a similar technique to the ornament that I showed you earlier. And this is just giving the lid a little bit of a lip. And you can have it go up or down. And by that, I will show you. This here has a lid that has the lip go slightly up. Or you can have it go slightly down to hug the edge of your piece. It's a stylistic decision that you can make. Okay. And then I want to kind of stretch it a little bit, and that's just giving it some body. That's why I wanted it a little thicker, so that when I stretch it, to give it a little body, so I'm making it curved, it wouldn't make the piece too thin. A good rule of thumb is to have your lid wall be the same width as your pot. So it matches. So I'm just gently my neighbor just fixed his motorcycle. Really excited about it. Has taken it off. Okay, I'm just securing this little handle onto my lid here. A handle can be any sort of shape. It can be a little coil, like this one, which is a loop. It can be a flat piece of clay. It can be a tiny animal, whatever. Or it can be a little thing, little nub. Okay, so that is a basic lid. One thing I will tell you is that you want to have your lid and your pot dry together because you want them to be able to fit together. I've waited for the water on the rim of my pot to dry off a little bit so that when I set this on here and let it dry for a while, they won't stick together because of the accidental creation of some slip. Really make sure that you've attached your handle. You don't want that to be popping off when you're taking the lid off to get some sugar or whatever you put in there. You can take a moment to kind of smooth out any issues, or you can do that once it's a little drier. This little guy kind of looks a little like an acorn. Just kind of last minute forming it a little bit before letting it dry together. All right, that's it.